What is that one sunrise or sunset that has been the most memorable sunrise or sunset for you? This is what I asked our most experienced team members at Indiahikes, and I'm not just asking anybody. These people have collectively done around 70 to 80 of the best Himalayan treks that we have in our country, and after talking to them, we have boiled it down to just 6 or 7 of those sunrises and sunsets. So that's the list I'm sharing with you today. If you're a mountain lover or a nature lover, all of these must definitely be on your list. Let's get started. One thing you must keep in mind is that you're not going to see these sunrises and sunsets at all times of the year. You must time your trek right, because in summer there is usually a big haze in the sky not giving you these views, and in monsoon of course there's big monsoon clouds and it kind of grays out the entire view. So the best time to experience these sunrises and sunsets is towards the end of the year. That is from mid-September onwards through October, November, December, even January and February to a large extent until early March, I would say. This is when the sky is at its clearest best and there are some phenomenal colors in the sky. And during this season is when you'll get to see the sea of clouds in the sky. You'll also get to see the winter line phenomenon in winter. So time your trek according to these months only. All of these treks are beautifully done in these months. I think universally on top of everyone's list, the first trek has been Sandakphu, especially for the sunrise and sunset from Aal. So at Aal, there is a viewpoint where you go, and when you're sitting there, right in front of you is the Sleeping Buddha or the Kanchenjunga range, and on your left side is the Everest, Lhotse, Makalu, and that entire range. The beauty of this trek is that early in the morning, the sun is going to rise behind you, and right there you are going to see the first rays of the sun falling on the Everest, and then it falls on the Kanchenjunga, and then slowly the entire range gets lit up. It's an incredible sight to watch. On the other hand, in the evening, you are going to see a gorgeous sunset at the exact same spot, because now the sun is going to be setting behind the Everest or around that entire range. What adds to the magic is, if you're lucky, you're going to be above this huge sea of clouds and you're going to see the sun slowly setting into the sea of clouds. And even after the sun has set, you are going to see the light of the sun, especially the blues and the reds, lingering on these mountains. So you're going to see a Kanchenjunga painted in colors of red and purple and finally white when the sun finally goes down. So that is a sunrise and sunset on the Sandakphu trek. It's hard to come by a sunset like this on any other trek and must be on your bucket list. Next on my list is a trek that not many people talk about, and that is the Khopra Ridge trek. And yet universally among our most experienced team members, Khopra Ridge is right on top. And that is because of the sunset that they see, especially while coming back from the Khair Lake. This is towards the Khopra Ridge tea house, where it's a community tea house, and from there you actually go up to the Khair Lake, which is at a very high altitude and it is reserved only for the fittest of trekkers. But that day when you're returning from Khair Lake is when you see one of the best sunsets ever, because on one side is the Dhaulagiri and on the other is the Annapurna Massif, and again you are at a vantage point on a ridge for a while and then onto a ledge, and you are above a sea of clouds again. So that entire setting makes the sunset one of the best sunsets you see. For as long as we're talking about the northeastern part of India and Nepal, I think it's hard to ignore the Goechala trek, and the sunrise at viewpoint 1 at Goechala is something that is hard to beat, because after a very long grueling climb you reach viewpoint 1 just in time to see the sun rising on the Kanchenjunga Massif. This is a view that moves almost all our trekkers to tears. It's not just the view of the mountain and the alpenglow on it, but it is also that hard work that you have put in to actually get to that point. So that sunrise has a very big significance for almost every trekker who goes there and comes back. So that is the sunrise on the Kanchenjunga at viewpoint 1. It definitely must be on our list of best sunrises and sunsets. Next on my list is something that nobody will see coming, because it's not even a trek in India or or in Nepal, it's a trek in Indonesia to Mount Rinjani. It's a grueling climb where you start from around 12:30 a.m. Like you start at night or 1 a.m. and you climb to the top. It's a relentless ascent, and from the top you see the best sunrise that you've ever seen, because from the top what you see is not just a hilltop or a lake below you. Of course you see that. You see a crater lake right below you, the Sagara Lake, but in the distance you also see the ocean. And then behind that you see the sunrise, usually with a sea of clouds as well. So this entire setting can leave you very confused, because sometimes you might be seeing two suns. One is the actual sun and one is the reflection of the sun in it. And you have this entire cloud going on. You cannot tell what is the horizon. And you have just done that grueling climb. So in your mind over there, you are absolutely mind boggled. And that is why Mount Rinjani is definitely going to feature on this list. The next on my list is a trekker favorite, because I think among all the treks I've just mentioned, this is among the easier ones, because you get to see some of the best sunsets from this particular location. I'm talking about the Thilandi campsite on the Brahmatal trek. So as you may know, Thilandi is actually at a high vantage point. It's like on a plateau, and that is where you camp. And right in front of you is a big valley, and on the other side you see Mount Trishul and Mount Nandaghuti right next to each other. You can see them from top to bottom. And what you see from Thilandi is a gorgeous sunset on these two mountains, and of course you see this big sea of clouds. So you must time your trek especially towards winter if you want to see these this sea of clouds. Right from October, November, December, this is when you're likely to see the sea of clouds. And even more beautiful in winter, you may also get a chance to see the winter line phenomenon, where at the horizon there is this bright red hue that forms, red, orange, all kinds of colors on the horizon, and it is one sight to see that you'll not get to see very often. The final trek on my list is the Chandrashila summit and the sunrise from the top. So you start your climb early in the morning at around 1 or 2 a.m. to try and make it to the summit by around 6 o'clock when the sun rises, and trekkers are in for a treat, because you can see almost every famous peak of Uttarakhand. Everything, as far as your eyes can see, you're seeing Himalayan peaks, and you're going to see the sun rising and casting its glow all around on these peaks. It's one of the most magical sunrises that you will live in your life. On the other hand, I want to add that I've seen the sunset from here as well, and it is equally beautiful, especially towards the end of the year in October, November, December. You are going to see the sky painted in ridiculous colors that you will really think that is this a painting or is this real? So that's how beautiful the sunrise and sunsets are from the Chandrashila summit, just because it is at that vantage point where there's nothing obstructing your view on any side. And if you need any help planning your trek, just give us a call and we'll help you. Or we have a form in the description below where you can talk to our trek advisors who will personally advise you on, based on your fitness, your background, your experience, they will suggest the right trek for you to do. So just fill out the form and we'll help you. But I hope you get a chance to see these sunsets, not just one of them, but perhaps all of them, because if you're not seeing these views in your life, then you're missing out on something very, very big, something meaningful, where your life can actually change from before one sunset to another. So I hope you get a chance to see all of these. We'll be back with more such videos soon. We have other videos on treks with the best mountain views, or treks that kind of help you have a very spiritual experience. So I hope you go through that on our YouTube channel. But we'll be back with more soon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Swati from Indiahikes.